Hello and welcome back to X2Z Movies, the not quite weekly, whenever I get around to having enough time to edit it, movie review podcast that takes place between a Gen Xer and a Gen Zer-ish or something. We'll see. Hi, my name is Christopher Maverick, but you can call me Mav. And who are you, young person?
My name is Marie, and I am your niece.
You are a young person who we talked about on a previous episode that, like, I called you a Gen Zer, but you're like, maybe you are, maybe you're not. What do you think you are?
I say Gen Z. It really depends on what people consider the cutoff date to be.
Mhm.
Gen Alpha is officially over, though. It's Gen Beta this year. I'm terrified.
I don't know that there's any official. I think people just say stuff.
I'm,
I
I'm
I still think you're a boomer because you have an old person hat on. What are you doing there?
It's a Girl Scout beanie. It's not an old person hat.
Why do you have a Girl Scout beanie? Did you beat up a Girl Scout and take her beanie? How'd that happen?
No, I am a Girl Scout.
Scout. Oh, I see. I see. So we were talking off air. You were going to mail me cookies like for free. Like you're going to just give me cookies. Is
I'll
that how
do
that
that.
works? No.
And I'll do that.
No. How am I getting cookies? What kind
You
of
have to
cookies are you selling?
head over my link, which I
Yes, I will.
would do.
Well, that's why I don't have cookies because someone has known me her entire life and sold me cookies her entire life, and yet somehow it is like how long has this year's cookie sale been going on?
A week,
So it's been a week. It's like
and I
7 days, and
texted
I've
you about
gotten
it. I just forgot
zero.
to send the link when I got it.
Yeah, a text does me no good.
Mhm.
All right, what movie did we watch for this week, and why did we
This
watch this
one was
movie?
one of your suggestions. It's the 1985 Return to Oz,
I don't know that it was a suggestion. I think I mentioned it because you were talking about the
the
original Wizard
original
of
Wizard of
Oz,
Oz.
and then I asked if you'd seen this, and then you seemed excited about it. So
The
we
Wizard of
thought
Oz movie.
it is a Wizard of Oz movie. It is a 1985 movie. It was produced by Disney. It was directed by Walter Murch, and it stars Fairuza Balk. And I don't know if you know who she is or not, but she's an actress that is probably best known for a movie called The Craft, which is also about witches, but it's very different. It's about teenage witches that she makes considerably, well, not considerably later. She's a little girl in this, and she's like a teenager when she makes the craft. I think you'd like the craft a lot. We might have to watch that one. And it is the adventures of a Dorothy who is after the events of the original Wizard of Oz movie. She is returning to Oz, which is now under siege, and she meets a whole new cast of characters, including Jack Pumpkinhead and TikTok of Oz, and eventually the Gump. They have to wander around and find, let's see, all of her friends from the first movie are either turned to stone or missing. So she's trying to find Glinda and the Scarecrow and free the Tin Woodsman and the Cowardly Lion from some kind of curse brought on by a new witch named Mombi and the Gnome King. Basically, they just kind of do stuff and wander from scene to scene until you reach the end of the movie, and then she saves everybody, she defeats the witch, and they send her home again, but with the caveat that at any time she can return to Oz if she wants to and have more adventures in future sequels that never happened. That's plot.
Set themselves up for like an endless amount of sequels, and then they never did it.
Right, right. Well, so I should point out that I was a huge Oz fan when I was really little, younger than you. I mean, like when I was like a little kid. When I was like 7, and there's like 20 of them or something. And that was like my whole thing when I was a little kid. This movie is sort of kind of based on a couple of them. There's elements of Lost Princess of Oz. There's elements of Land of Oz. There's elements of a few different Oz movies that are kind of TikTok of Oz is one, and they're kind of smushed into this book. That's where the Gump comes from. It's where Jack comes
This
from.
book?
Sorry, into this movie. Yeah, all those books are kind of smushed into this movie. Belinda the Hen comes from one of those books, and it was a choice. I don't necessarily think this is very good. What did you think? Did you like it?
I thought it was okay as a movie in general. I did like
Hmm.
it, but as a Wizard of Oz continuation,
Mm-hmm.
not so much because I like Wizard of Oz the movie. It's fun, it's whimsy, it's magical. And
Mm-hmm.
then you go to Return to Oz, it's not as whimsy. It's certainly not as whimsy. I did not need to see a woman with 31 heads.
Oh, you didn't like that part. That's like the part that everybody
It's
remembers.
amazing, but I was like, for a Wizard of Oz movie?
So you're talking about Mombi. Mombi is the evil witch princess, and Mombi has the ability to take off her head and grab another head and attach it. And basically, she wears a different head every day based on her mood, and that's what
I thought it was
it's.
very funny that you could see the green screen outline, which
It,
it's a
it
1985
was
movie. It does
1985.
not anything to do with like production value. I just thought it was funny.
I think it is a very convincing. Like I remember when it
Yeah,
happened, people were like, "Wow, that was really really cool." That's the
definitely.
thing
I
everybody
just thought
remembers.
it was funny because you could see like she takes it off, and you can't like you can barely see the green screen when you have like her actually taking off the head. But then you
Hmm.
go to when she's putting it down on the stands.
Well, again, it
It's
was
good.
but effects from 40 years ago.
Yeah,
And some people like to change. You're wearing a cool hat. Some people like to accessorize. In fact, I know for a fact that you are a person who likes to accessorize in lots of weird ways.
true, true. But I don't
So
switch heads.
maybe that's like, like a ninth grade thing coming up.
I don't think so.
So aside from the special effects, what'd you think?
Oh, like I said, it was a good movie in general.
Okay.
I
Didn't
I watched Wizard of Oz. I like Wicked as well because although it's whimsy, it's fun, it's magical, and it's still magical in Wizard
yeah.
of Oz, but it's very much less whimsy. The Wheelers kind of weirded me out.
The Wheelers are basically creatures that have wheels on their feet and their hands, so they put their
But
hands
other than
down
that, they're like
and they can
humanoid anatomy, and it's
right.
really
Right, so they can but they can they're like they're basically humanish, but then they can basically put their hands down and roll around like motorcycles, which seems kind of fun. I don't know that it feels to me, I don't think it's any less magical than Wicked
it's less magical. I just
or
think
this
it's a little darker.
I don't really find Wicked to be whimsical. Like I don't think whimsy is the right word. I mean, I can see why you say that, but it doesn't feel like right to call Wicked whimsy to me. But I do think that Wicked is, sort of more fun. It's put together better. Just better choices were made. I enjoyed watching Wicked a lot more than I enjoyed watching Return to Oz, both now when I watched it this week to talk about it with you, but also even when I watched it as a kid, this was never one of my favorite movies. It's got a bit of a cult following, I guess. Mhm.
I s-
Yeah. It's got like a 58% on Rotten Tomatoes, which is not horrible, but it's not good. It was not a hit at the box office. It made less than half of its budget. Like it was like a $28 million budget, and they only made 11 million at the box office, which is pretty much a failure.
I was surprised at the beginning, like before she goes to Oz. I knew when I've heard like multiple descriptions of the movie. I just never watched it, and I knew that one of the main points in the beginning of the story was that she was an insomniac. I did
Mhm.
not expect her to be sent to what was basically an asylum.
Yeah, it's totally an asylum. One of the questions in Wizard of Oz in the original film is, did Dorothy ever actually go to Oz or was it all a dream? So, if it was all a dream and she kept talking about it, you would assume that maybe she had some kind of psychological problem, and wouldn't you want her to get help?
I ended when it mentioned that it was like 1899 was the year. I was like,
Huh?
okay, but electric on a child.
Yeah, that's what they would have done if they didn't lobotomize her. Aren't you happy you live now?
Yes, very much. No, thank you.
See, now they just have you talk to somebody and become like a better, more balanced person through therapy. But nope, not back then.
No, back then they were like, "Bzz," or they take part of your brain away.
Would you recommend it for other people? Where are you at? Are you a thumbs up? Are you a thumbs down? How do you feel about it?
Middle. I would recommend it to somebody, but I would tell them it wasn't my favorite. But
Okay. See,
it was
I'm a thumbs down. I actually don't like this movie. I've never. Now I know a lot of people who do. It has developed a cult following over the years. I love these books. I hate this movie. I was like, I'm really curious what she's gonna think about it. I will. So for me, it's absolutely a no.
I'm in the middle.
You're in the middle. You're easier going on it than me. Did you watch it alone or did you watch it with anybody? You watch it
I watched
alone?
it on my phone.
Oh, you watch it.
That's what I watch like half of these movies on. The other half I'll watch on the TV with other people.
Okay. See, that's your weird Gen Z thing.
I
I
can watch
have
it
watched
anywhere if I watch it on my phone. I didn't
her.
want one.
I see, that doesn't what do you mean you don't want a TV? Why would anybody ever not want a TV? I don't
Because
understand.
I
See,
have my
there's
laptop and my phone.
kids today. No, that's well, but that's the difference. I don't know. I mean, if you're on a 3-inch screen, can you really appreciate the cinematographic mastery of
I
A
don't think
Return
it's
to
a
Oz?
3-inch. I don't think it's that small, but it was.
Your phone's not that big.
I don't think it's 3 inches.
Mm, 4.
Mhm.
You can measure it. It's not going to be much.
No, maybe it is. Hold on. Maybe it is across the diagonal.
Huh? They're not big. So, but anyway, it was a movie that one could watch. You're not telling your girlfriends about it or anything like that. You're not recommending it, but you would watch it with them
Yeah,
if you. That's fair enough.
we
That's
would
fair.
probably laugh at parts of it.
I think there's a lot to laugh at. Maybe
Yeah,
so it does feel it feels dated a little bit. Like you're saying, you could see the green screen. I think the effects for what they're working with are really good. One of the things that is well known is the head, the fact that they can remove the head, but
in
also
1980.
not just when she's CGI. So they're doing stuff with just masking. It's really tricky thing. But also the way that the character of TikTok is this kind of robot man, but he is constructed in a very not exactly humanoid kind of way. He's more of a round ball with little legs that like trying to make that puppet. There's a guy in there. There's a little person in there running it, and he's very crouched over, and it like the construction of that character was actually really really hard to do. So the special effects mastery of what went into building Return to Oz is impressive, but I don't love it. I don't. I mean, I
It's
love.
good technically,
Yes,
but
yes, I do
not
appreciate it technically. I don't love the film. It's it's just so I'm a no. But I would love to know what people think. So, if you want to let us know in the comments, do you agree with Marie? Do you agree with me?
think
Do
it's
you like
good.
because again, I know people who are fans of this movie.
I know nobody who's seen this movie.
But anyway, are you gonna watch more movies with me? You wanna
Definitely.
watch it? Okay, wonderful. So we will you wanna take us out? What should people do?
Alright, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell.
All right. And we will see you next time for another great movie on X2Z Movies. Goodbye.
Bye!